Hello, Sunpower here. And I want to make an important notice. You see here, this is Mineola in the present day state. The way it's just like suffering. I've been there 7 or 8 times last year, so I've seen all the proof. I've seen it from PinePowerLI's videos. You know, PinePowerLI is getting so stressed that he's once again resorting to call Mineola names, but I want to say that they're not meant to be offensive. The most recent term, Shiteola, it's just meant to describe the state that the place is going into or is into already. After all, it's not meant to be an offensive term. And the type of stress that PinePowerLI is going through, a year ago it was like 2 full-time jobs for a normal person. Now it's more like 5 equivalents to the type of stress he's going through. It's causing his upper body to get injured and not function correctly. We really need to start caring about the middle of the island and stop neglecting. There's even this place there's even the whole protest in Hicksville about like turning single-family houses into multi-family houses. Now, here's the thing. I don't agree with PinePowerLI on the illegal immigration thing. I just think that those illegal immigrants, or anybody, really, who has a criminal record should go through the 1 week of rehab that I suggested, residential, in a hospital. Like those in Mineola would go to the Langone for a rehab that corrects criminal offenses, and it would be segregated from the medically ill people. That's honestly what I think they should do. Instead of the whole prison thing or not allow them into the country. So I'm not with PinePowerLI on that. So, and these people who are commenting on my videos, who are complaining about him, saying he's racist, he's no longer racist, PinePowerLI. He used to be when he had that experience in Westbury, or as he used to call it, Wastebury. But I'm sorry, I don't want to use those terms like he is. I'm just mentioning that those terms he's saying are not meant to be offensive. They're meant to describe the state of a place. He also used the term for Hicksville, and me and him both used that term for Hicksville in the past. Both of us also used a similar term for Mineola called Skidiola, compared to Skidsville. One of my relatives came up with another one for Mineola called Minusola. He once did, a year ago, Crapiola, and one time seeing rats on the street, Radiola. But none of those are meant to be offensive. Okay? So that the most recent term, he's been forced to do that because of the state of the places and how he needs to blow off some steam. Being stressed out. We need to stop redlining in the middle of the island. I mean, the third track project, now that the construction and shutdowns are done, it's done tremendous damage to that corridor. And unlike a similar track configuration at Tuckahoe and Bronxville and Metro North, they don't use the bridge plates that those stations do whenever there's a track closed on one of the sides. Instead, they just have the trains bypass the station. Why can't they do the same thing as they do at Tuckahoe and Bronxville and Metro North? They have 3 tracks and 2 side platforms at those 2 stations. Anyway, thankfully, the speaking up in Hicksville's a sign towards progress. And I'm not going to mention anything now because it's not going to be, because later tonight I'm going to be starting with the computer company, but that's just a hope that I can use that money to like help provide a place on the South Shore, but that's just hypothetical. And some people are against me doing that. But once I have the thin air machine from all my earnings and all the earnings I make, the thing that can make things out of thin air, they'll also correct the environment is what I meant to say. It'll also be able to build affordable housing in Rockville Center, one reserved for PinePowerLI, hopefully. And that's hypothetical too, because it may take a while, it may not happen. The whole big business part of it, where I use my strategy to create thin air machines, or TAMs, not to be confused with 20th anniversary Macintosh by Apple. A rare computer that was made in the late 1990s. But we need to do something. We need to advocate for Mineola just in case PinePowerLI can't get into Rockville Center, or is forced to move to New Jersey. We know how bad that is. But the Pine Barrens, even if we do advocate for Mineola, what about the Pine Barrens? What if they disappear altogether because of all the development? PinePowerLI doesn't count the pine trees in Westchester or as Pine Barrens, and he doesn't want to live in a place that's not grid-based like that place I live in. He probably also wouldn't want to climb up the hills I climb up, because it's way hillier up here. But anyway, he doesn't want, even if there were Pine Barrens, he wouldn't want to live here because of the lack of a grid. Even if I did develop grids here in Westchester, he wouldn't want to. We need to do something. And by we mean people in that corridor who are living there, who are starting to do something to advocate. Turns out the lack of benches in Mineola is because of the town supervisor saying so. Because of homeless people using them to sit permanently, like for hours at a time. At least that's what I think. We need to do something. And this isn't just having an effect on PinePowerLI. It's also having an effect on some of my other colleagues, like, well, Andy's randomness, it's because he disagrees with me on the governor's politics, mostly. But Evan Gold LI, he's starting to feel it too. Not as rough as PinePowerLI, but still. But yeah, Andy's randomness because Hochul was elected. Now, I do like Hochul better than Zeldin, but I like Williams much better than Hochul. That's why he plans on moving out of New York State and living independently in the future. Now I am getting into housing programs in Westchester. Let's just say where I want to live is the equivalent of Queens Village in Westchester. Because that's where I'm looking. Other places like Garden City of Westchester, really it's Eastchester. Because I'm not going to live on Long Island where things are unfair. Even with the great geology. Great, features. That's going to be it. Bye.